Get mantra and meditation MP3s at JasonGallant.ca. Today I'd like to talk about the unchanging self, the immortal self, the thing that you are, or if there's even a word for it, that never changes. That's what immortality means, right? It's always alive. It never changes. It never comes and goes. It never dies. Like a lot of these flies that are biting me right now. There's these black flies. So I'm afraid a few of them are going back to their immortal self today because I've been whacking a lot of them because they bite hard, I'm telling you. So this is the challenge of filming outside sometimes. It's either really freezing cold or you have mosquitoes or flies bugging you, but hey, that's life, right? Always things coming and going. Different seasons, different scenarios. And a lot of the different scenarios that happen are also within you. That's where a lot of people get caught. They don't realize that there are parts that they think that they are within that are ever changing. These parts of themselves that can change, such as thoughts. A lot of people identify with their thoughts. They identify with their fears. They say, this is who I am. This opinion, this point of view, that's who I am. So that is it. That's really my highest manifestation of myself as this. This is what I stand for. But if you talk to these people 20 or 30 years down the road, most often they stand for something different. Once new information comes to light, once new experiences come to light, then there is an evolution of that. So really, they were never their point of view because their point of view could change. But there was something, some part of them that was there all along through many different points of view. That is what the enlightenment path is seeking. It's about seeking that and remembering that and realizing that you are not your opinions, you are not your points of view, you are not your skills, you are not all of these things. These things are something that you do in this playground called life, but that is not what the enlightenment path is about. It's about finding your way back to the source of who you are, where it all came from. And that is where the foundation of your reality sits. So then you can move back into the illusion. You can move back into the many mistakes of life, you could say. The misunderstandings that are constantly going on. And realize that when you know that you are not your opinions, you know that you are not your point of view, you know that you are not your limitations, but you can still move through limitation, then the limitation can evolve because you're no longer holding on to misconceptions as your solid ego. You're no longer saying, okay, this is who I am. The mind becomes malleable and receives new information at a faster rate and evolves and adapts and is more permeable and malleable, right? Things travel in and out. Because just because my opinion might be wrong doesn't mean I'm dying. But people who believe that they are their opinions or their beliefs, if some piece of information comes in and contradicts that, that is like them experiencing death. And that is why they cling to their beliefs so strongly. They don't realize that they are one step behind the beliefs. The beliefs are here, but this is who they are. And the beliefs can come and go and they can change and everything. Everything can change, but it never changes who they are, truly. If you ask any one of them, say, hey, when you aren't thinking in any one moment, do you die? They're like, oh, of course not. Of course I don't die. But at the same time, they cling to their thoughts and their beliefs so strongly, as if they will die if those beliefs or thoughts are contradicted. The enlightenment path isn't about holding on to beliefs. It isn't about holding on to ideas or thoughts. It's about realizing who you are. The source of who you are, that which is unchanging, the immortal self, the self, as Ramana Maharshi called it. Once that's realized, then you can truly work through life as a scientist. Start to see what really works and what doesn't work. And yes, you will have a certain level of wisdom because now you're no longer emotionally charged about one thing supposedly having to be this way or that way. You're saying, oh, this is just what works. This is just how this game called life works. This is how nature works. This is how the universe works. You're no longer projecting your idea based on suffering upon it. So, don't make the mistake of assuming that someone who has a piece of information here or a piece of information there is woke or awake, or so that's not what this is about. It's not about trading information. I'm not saying some people aren't right about the information they have, but this is about knowing that you are beyond information, ideas, point of view. You do not have to cling to that as the sunglasses through which you see life. You're the one wearing the sunglasses, I guess I could say. The sunglasses being a metaphor for the mind, I guess. This is the mystical process of unraveling point of view. There will be new points of view, but there's nothing worse than getting stuck in a point of view and not being able to find your way out, believing that you are that. That's what causes suffering. That's what causes the endless cycle of torment. This is why mantra is Sanskrit for freedom from the mind. What is the mind? The mind is a specific point of view based on information and history that you have acquired, but is not complete. This is another reason why the yogis always say you cannot fit the ocean into a teacup. It's the same thing with the mind. It does not have the capacity to understand intellectually who you truly are. The immensity of that. It's like looking through a virtual reality suit and trying to find out who you are when you're the one who is looking. You are not the information that the virtual reality suit is showing you. So first, you must let go of the virtual reality suit, which is why many of the yogis detached from the five senses, because they said even the physical body is a virtual reality suit, telling you a bunch of lies about who you are. This is just this game called the Maya. This is the illusion. Let go of all that is being shown to you in your meditation. Fall back into who you truly are. And then when you move back into the illusion, move back into life, you will be freer from suffering. You will be freer from the emotional pain surrounding events and situations, because you will know where your soul, or where your self, capital S, is truly resting. It's not in this changing game. It's not in this ever-changing game called humanity and life. You still will have emotions. Those are fine. But you won't be stuck in an endless cycle of trying to reach fulfillment through changing everything this way. You will fall back into yourself and therefore experience fulfillment. And then when you come out here, you just are here to enjoy it. Sometimes the battle, sometimes the fun. It becomes more of a detached process at that point. Passionate, very enthusiastic. All the emotions that are supposedly negative in the spiritual New Age circles. I mean, there can be anger, there can be this, there could be that. That is just humanity happening. That's just a big game. But you will know the exit door any one moment when it is no longer serving you. Just fall back into the self. Fall back into the immortal self, the one who is after this physical body is dropped. So there's a point where beliefs can work against you. If beliefs are serving you and you feel fine and you feel great and certain beliefs are helping you deal with life, I'm okay with that. But when you start to notice that your beliefs are causing suffering, that's when it's time to let them go for a moment and see if they are truly within alignment of truth itself. Perhaps maybe they are. Perhaps they just need a couple more details added into there so that your point of view is more accurate. That's part of the evolution process. And yes, perhaps some beliefs need to be discarded altogether because all they are doing is torturing you, convincing you of your limitation, convincing you that you should be in suffering. And yes, this can happen on the intellectual level, such as I believe this, I believe that. And it can also happen on the feeling level, where every time I experience this, I must feel this. That was the most surprising discovery for me a long time ago, was when I was in exactly the same situation. But when I let go of certain stories, all of a sudden now, the feeling around a certain situation would be totally different. One sensation was constriction, the other sensation was absolute freedom, and oh well, there was just life happening, right? This is all about self-mastery, but not in a way where you are controlling yourself. It's more about a realization of where freedom is. And this deepens. This deepens as you keep on chanting your mantras and doing meditation, pranayama, whatever your spiritual practices are. This continues to deepen, which is why your humility serves you so strongly, because you're always open. You're always open to the next level of integration of the universe. Always realizing that the mind is limited in itself. It's a great tool to be used, but it is limited. And it is also going through its own expansion process, and it cannot keep up with the immensity of the self. So remember, you are not your beliefs, you are not your thoughts. You can have them, but that's not who you are. I hope this helps you on your spiritual journey. Take care for now. Are you interested in working with a spiritual teacher in a formal setting? Well, perhaps the Wisdom Life School is for you. If you're interested in checking out what the Wisdom Life School is all about, just go to aratima.com.